taking responsibility. And that is the topic of this video today. Hopefully I greet you in love and good times, personally, for all of you. But responsibility is what I've been learning recently, or just literally the past couple days. And what this means to me in this moment is, taking charge or responsibility in your own life for your actions, your thoughts, your feelings, what you do, what you don't do, and things like this. And so this ties into my last video as well, but it's about taking responsibility for your life, really. You can't just be a puppet of circumstance. You can't just be who you are for the sake of being who you are, which it's not bad, but you should strive to meet your expectations for yourself, because I feel like we all have some sort of expectations for yourself. Maybe you don't, but I definitely do, and I basically always have some sort of peak version of Zachary, some sort of peak version of me where I am the best I can be, I'm the most loving I can be, I serve the most people, I help the most people, I'm the smartest I can be, I'm the most healthy I can be, all these infinite possibilities of things that I can be, but they're the highest and the most good that I can be at those things. And sometimes it's not always possible to be those things at all times and all moments, but you have to take action and responsibility in those areas. You can't just be like, oh, it'll happen, which it will. Most likely it'll happen in some way, but really you should take responsibility for these things and to put them in action. So what this could be is I want to serve people, but I don't know exactly what I can do, and I have a hard time serving my dad and my mom and things like this, and or even myself, but and so I can actually take steps to do this. So I recently just helped my mom grade some papers for homework for her, 'cause she's a teacher and she grades stuff, and I helped her grade some easy work or whatever. And then I also helped my dad move some stuff in the garage, and during it I wasn't dreading. I wasn't I have to do this thing. No, I was more I get to do this thing to serve them, to bring them some help to lighten their load. And so it was a much different experience than it has been in my life before. Today, even just today, and it was very peaceful. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't uncomfortable, really. There were some moments where I was oh, I wish I was laying down right now watching a YouTube video or something like that, or reading a book or something else. But for the most part, I was just helping. I was just doing whatever I wanted, or what I wanted to do, which is I want to serve my father and serve my family in whatever way that may be. And previously, I didn't really take responsibility for my own life, in a sense, where this means that I just wouldn't take responsibility. I wouldn't take responsibility to clean my room, or to take out the trash, or to serve. I'm going on the example of serves because that's what has been the biggest thing, but or if we're going back to my last video, taking responsibility for my health and my well-being. So not watching porn or masturbating, or not smoking weed, and not doing these things because I know that they are bad for me in my reality. I know this. It's not this maybe for me they have been bad. They have not been positive for the most part. I talked about that a little bit in the last video, but mainly they have been a negative experience, and I know this, but I haven't, I didn't like take responsibility to stop this. I just was like, oh, I'll stop it, maybe next time, and this cycle would just keep continuing. So like, I was just like, I have to fucking stop, like, I don't want to do this, like, when I'm in my, like, sober, like, state of mind. But then there's just these, like, things that, like, sort of possess you and come over you. And so if you take responsibility for yourself and you're like, I'm going to stick in this sort of perspective, which isn't always good, you to stay in the same perspective and not be open-minded, but you want to have some sort of moral code, maybe, and whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be this Christian thing, this religious thing. It can be your own moral code that you want to stick by, that you want to do. And what that would be for me is sort of what I mentioned earlier in the video, which is serving others, loving others, being the best version of myself. And so to do these things, most people know what they have to do. At least I've researched so much. I sort of know, like, what I have to do in a sense, like, to become more self-actualized, and more within myself, but I haven't always done those things. And I feel like a lot of people intuitively know what they need to do. Maybe you know that you need to break up with your boyfriend. Maybe you know that you need to stop, watching 5 hours of TV every day. Maybe you need to, start focusing on your school more. Maybe you know that you need to, be kinder to your brother or your husband or your wife or whatever this may be. And most people know these things, but then they're just like, you do it anyways. In the moment of it all, you do it anyways. And so the responsibility comes in where you take responsibility for your actions. You're like, I am going to do what I say I'm going to do. You take back the power within yourself, and you don't allow yourself to be possessed and controlled by these emotions or things. It doesn't even matter what they are necessarily, but you don't let them possess you and take you over. You stand within yourself, grounded in the energy of whatever you want that to be in. What I would say is love, but you can make it whatever you want. And so that's basically it. Stay within yourself. You want to have some sort of boundaries for yourself, basically, that you won't cross. And maybe you'll have thoughts about crossing them, but eventually, if you're like, no, I'm not going to do that, that's not a good thing, it's not going to be positive for me or the other person, then you really have to just, like, not do it. And this is easier said than done, obviously, but responsibility for me in this moment and in my progression has been key. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you gain some sort of value again from this video. Maybe you're able to use it in your life. Maybe some of the examples helped you process some things. Maybe you let you be aware of some problems you didn't even know you had. If so, that is wonderful. If you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.